Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We got Shanghai major action.
Yeah,
Qualifiers.
it's happening.
Insanity Hub is happening again. You might have just seen Rob creeping in from the corner. He's already going slightly crazy.
He's
Shane
ready.
is going crazy. Shane's here. He couldn't sleep last night because the air mattress kept on deflating. So he hasn't slept yet today. He's gonna take a nap.
He's got a
Already
cast or something
the
later.
shift swapping's beginning. You know, like
Yeah.
at the beginning it was like you, Winter, Merlini last time for Frankfurt, and you guys were all enthusiastic. We
That's
got
good.
the Kappa jar out. Everyone was just brimming with passion for Dota. 48 hours in, David. People were going.
We've
a little
lost
crazy.
our passion.
They were tearing their hair out.
Give it another week and we're going to be casting CS:GO, COD even. This
This
is not the hub to be at. This major, guys.
Where's the Smash stream? We actually don't have any Smash players here right now.
I don't know.
Rob's the best Smash player here. Can you believe that?
Better than Brian?
Oh,
They
yeah.
both are. Is
Oh,
he-
yeah, he's
okay.
way.
Okay,
Brian.
way better.
Brian's terrible. I could
Yeah.
beat Brian.
Okay.
Brian's a trash can.
Are you any good?
I was pretty good at Smash 64, but
Okay.
Melee is totally different.
I was good at Smash 64. I played Kirby. I think Kirby was pretty
When
good.
I was a kid, I would play Smash 64 with my brother, and this was when we were in our teens, and he's only 1 year younger than me, so we were very competitive about everything. And whenever he would start beating me, I would just start punching him. I was a pretty terrible brother as a kid. Now he's bigger than me. Now he's 3-4 inches taller than me, and
I never owned it.
quite a bit scarier. So
My parents didn't believe in getting consoles for me and my family. So my 64 Smash experience was with this kid who was 8 years younger than me, and it was a similar thing where if I was losing to him, I'd just start beating the shit out of him. He was 8 years younger than me, not
8 years younger. What is wrong with
I
you?
don't know, 8 years, 6 years. He was definitely young, at least
that
6
deserves
years.
a punch. Let's get this hub started right. You're just asking for it, man. You're beating up kids 8 years younger than you. What's wrong with
But
you?
then I just got better than it. That was
My God.
and played Kirby. Kirby was good, I think, in 64. I don't really know.
So we are gonna try to cast Dota here. We're
Yeah.
gonna try to be a little less crazy than WCA.
Cast some Chinese Dota
At least at
LD.
first. If we're crazy now, it's only gonna get worse. So we gotta moderate the craziness. So we'll be covering the China qualifiers here from the house. We've got, I believe it's Cyclops, Lysander, and Hades, who will be bringing pretty much full coverage for Southeast Asia.
And some of China too.
So
We're doing some of China. We're also doing some. We're doing a bit of everything.
Okay, we're doing everything. Never mind.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah.
I'm talking about. Just pretend I'm not here.
No, production doesn't know
He's the
either.
smart one.
We're doing a bit of SEA as well. So we're going to start with China. Then we're going to do, I think, one SEA game. Then we go to Europe. Then we go to America. We're doing full round the world.
Okay,
So
we're doing true Insanity Hub style then.
yeah. So it's same thing as last time. 24-hour coverage. We're going to be kind of just casting some of the best games going on at any given time. And of course, that
We're
starts
gonna
with Chinese Dota.
cherry pick them.
Oh yeah.
If Navi's playing, we're definitely casting that game, right? That goes without saying. We're shameless here.
Maybe.
Only
No
so
comment.
that you can get your easy punching bag that's not 8 years younger than you and still a small child.
Yep.
And feel good about yourself for a little while, because we all need that.
So yeah, we'll be doing that. I don't think. Oh yeah, we've got also lots of guests coming in. They're all stuck because it's pouring rain.
They're all
so
either trapped in the airport, in transit,
going crazy
horribly
in the case of Shane.
sleep deprived.
It's just gonna be me and LD casting 24
Or-
hours nonstop for 5 days.
And the viewers probably can't see it, but today I went to the gym and I had to show my appreciation for Mr. Ben Wu and Team Vegetable Esports.
that's the Ben Wu shirt.
So I wore my Team Zephyr shirt there, and they were winning. So I'm like, this is working. All right, I've got something even better. I've got the Merlini Zeus shirt, but it hasn't aged too well. It's just as soon as I put it on, I'm not even kidding, they started falling apart. So I
Whoa.
take full responsibility for Vegetable Esports not making it.
I can see the makings of the outline of the Zeus now.
This is what happened to
and
Vegetable
the
Esports.
text, whatever it says. Can't even remember what the text said anymore.
They're crumbling. But they had a good time. They had a great run.
They did. They took a game off a team who was at the last major, so that's.
We would have had
an
the dumbest. I
accomplishment.
think we might have had the dumbest hub ever if Ben qualified. You'd be the only intelligent Dota player here. Maybe Shane. Shane's okay.
Yep.
Average
That's not
MMR would
saying
be in
much.
the toilet.
Yeah, we lost Winter as well. He's actually qualified.
Yeah, all
God
our-
damn it, Winter.
All our actual analysts except for you
Man,
are playing too well.
yeah, Dota casting.
We need to
going
sabotage
downhill.
Ben.
Yeah.
Liquor
Just-
him up.
I mean, we just we can DDoS him directly. Like it's our internet line.
Just
It's
go to
like,
the house and unplug the internet.
you know, that's like the next level DDoS.
Oh my god. Evil.
Yeah.
So what do we have coming up? I believe it's LGD versus Tong Fu.
Yep. LGD versus TongFu, then LGD versus IG. So that's
little-
like a crazy Chinese matchup. It's like very kind of historic one where those teams have played so many times and somehow they both end up in the qualifiers now.
Good times. We used to cast them a lot more because they used to play more, and the
And
organizers.
they used to be better.
Yeah.
LGD, no, LGD is really
Okay,
good.
I want to run something by you because Shane said
We're in the draft.
We're in the draft,
Let's
so
go
we're
to
gonna
the
hop
draft.
into it.
Yeah.
Let's do our magic thing. All right, now we're in the draft.
Okay.
But Shane said to me, I think it's a pretty aggressive statement, that any team in the European qualifier could
5
easily win the other
seconds
qualifiers. This is verbatim what he said. As our resident Chinese Dota fan gay, I want to give you a chance to reply to Shane's statement. So,
jeez.
any team in Europe could easily win any of the other qualifiers.
Could win the Chinese qualifier. I think China's scarier than Europe. Maybe not. I
But
think
why?
Europe was scarier.
What makes them
Last
scarier?
qualifier, I think it was Europe was maybe a tiny bit scarier. This time around, I think China's quite a bit scarier because LGD, IG, CDEC Young Squad, Wings, Newbie Young Squad, Newbie themselves. Like, you've got like all these TI champions in the qualifiers. You've got ROTK leading this team in the qualifier. IG's kind of meh at the moment. Newbie's scary. You got like How and Moo playing. And all these young, like CDEC Youth, they beat Vici Gaming at the Radiant Dire Cup. Like, I don't know. I think China is. Europe's just scary because it's all these CIS squads who can all beat anyone. So I agree.
Europe is deeper and definitely the best region overall, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have the. Like, maybe some of the top Chinese teams could beat some of the European teams, but I think Europe is the deepest region, and there's more of a drop-off towards the bottom in China.
Yep.
But I just thought it was, I thought it was a fun.
Oh, Shane. I'm glad we start off this Shanghai hub with a laugh. Thanks, Shane.
That's why we brought Shane.
No. I think without
We
a
had
doubt,
to we had to balance out actual insight
Yeah.
with Shaneism.
Poor Shane, who hopefully gets a chance to be on here to make snide remarks about me too. But I think without a doubt, Europe and China, the two strongest regions, and Europe, I think, was, as I said, stronger last time, maybe not stronger this time, but it's you could make arguments for both. I think America, SEA, the clear weaker regions, and I think that those two regions are fairly similar in like what their strength is. But they're not like neither region particularly weak. I think there's lots of great teams in both. The regions, like each individual region, America and Southeast Asia, is stronger and scarier than they were last majors qualifiers and like TI qualifiers. Like TI American qualifiers was a bit clowny. Then Frankfurt major American qualifiers was like, oh, there's a few decent teams. This is competitive. You got these South Americans unknown coming out of nowhere. And now it's like, whoa, now it's like getting really legit.
It's an all South American finals now for the the last open qualifier for America. But we are here in China, and the draft has begun. So Oracle making it into that first phase. This hero has been talked about a lot. I know you were a big Oracle advocate, even like 2 patches ago when you would see the hero in pubs. You said basically nobody knows how to play the hero, but if you do, it's really strong.
He got nerfed he got nerfed really heavily. His ultimate,
And still ban-worthy.
yeah, he's I think still really. It's kind of like the new Dazzle in some ways, where he does a lot of what Dazzle does, but has a few other little tools, like having the purge is like a counter to one of the best offliners in Darkseer. So
Ion Shell stands no chance, nor does the
Yep.
Surge.
So and you got the really cool change where you can now purge teammates. So I like where Oracle. I think Oracle is really good and definitely a hero that.
Very annoying to play against, if nothing else.
Yeah. The thing that makes him hard and that we're probably not seeing him more is that not only like do you need an Oracle player, you need an Oracle team, because having one player who knows what Oracle does is enough. You need 4 teammates who also know what Oracle does and
Because
can
you have to
play
play
around
around
it.
the
Yeah.
abilities a lot.
Whereas Dazzle, it's just like all you have to know is that he has this spell which you can't die during, like if you get graved. Whereas Oracle, it's like you know that you can't attack if you have the Fate's Edict on you, like when you get healed, if you should run when he ulties you, or if you should stand and fight. Like you kind of have to have a good idea of if you're going to die during his false promise or not. So even that is like I'm casting here. I'm like, is this hero dead or not? I feel like an idiot. I can't really tell.
It's where you just have to actually play a decent number of games with the hero on your team.
Yeah.
So, ban-wise, we talked a little bit about the Oracle. Running through the draft quickly. First overall pick, Earth Spirit. Many said he would be the new Tusk in this patch. We still see some Tusk. Nature's Profit and Venge, the reply from Tong Fu, though, and this is something that I feel like I've seen more of lately, which is these more pushing-oriented drafts. Sometimes even very heavy 5-man drafts. This one for Tong Fu looks like it could be a little more split push. They're kind of leaving it open. But LGD, on the other hand, heavy nuking, heavy just hero-killing potential with the Earth Spirit Zeus.
And you're gonna just wait for like a potential Dro
10
Ranger pickup to
seconds
slip into
remaining.
Tong Fu. You get like a Dro Visage Venged NP. Game could just be over in
5
like 20,
seconds
25 minutes. And
remaining.
Tong Fu used to play a lot of Dro Range. I don't know if they still do. So we'll see if that's a possibility. I think
time.
it's a very likely possibility for them if they want to try and cheese a game 1 victory. The format's changed though. Eternal Envy has done something. We're now down to 2 points per win rather than 3 points.
He truly is Ii-sama when even
Yeah.
Valve have to bow to
Yeah.
his demands.
That was one of like the biggest causes for disputes in any tournament format.
I feel
Players-
like I feel like his logic makes perfect sense. In an ideal world, you know, a 2-0, you're ultimately 2-0s versus ties. You can make the argument both ways, but I think ideally you just break the tie by extra games. But
Yep.
the problem is when you've got a live event like TI, where you have to get through the games quickly. So online, maybe a little bit easier to handle the tiebreakers, and at least from a Valve point of view.
And the thing is, the players either hated the system or just didn't really care about the system. So you didn't hear people really supporting it because there weren't people like, oh, it's so much better. They were just
The people who support it are like the event organizers and maybe the
Yeah.
broadcasters,
Yeah.
because it makes their lives a little bit simpler. Terrablade coming out now for LGD.
Radiant team.
Man, we
Oh,
are
yeah.
seeing all kinds of funky, fresh heroes here in 6.86. What are we on now? D?
DC.
They keep on they've been releasing like tweaks, but it hasn't always been a new
Yeah.
letter.
Sometimes they just like patch overthrow or something.
Makes it really hard to keep track. I'm not gonna.
But Terrablade's been seeing a bit of play, quite a bit in China, I guess. Not like a, I wouldn't say he's like a metagame hero quite yet, but he's approaching that point.
10 seconds
I've seen a
remaining.
few American teams play him as well. I think it was TC who was playing in America, but we haven't seen
5
Europe pick up
seconds
just
remaining.
yet on the hero.
I think this is a good way to pick him as well, getting the Zeus first. Maybe they weren't planning on Terrablade, but they're like,
Reserve
okay,
time.
they don't really have many ways to deal with illusions. We have one of the best heroes to counter Terrablade, and someone who can just give him vision, allow him to play a split push game a little more easily. So they go for it now, but TongFu, they get an answer to illusions with the Ember,
Turn to
Yep.
pick.
And
as
something-
well as their primary ganker, it looks like.
Yeah, something that can be aggressive and actually gives them catch. They have no pick-off, like, they have pick-off potential with a swap or something, but it's not reliable catch like an Ember. You TP an Ember in, he has 2 to 3 Fire Remnant blinks and actually has catch potential. And that's something you're going to desperately need against Terrablade. If you to play a slow pace game against him and he gets farmed, you probably just lose.
10 seconds remaining.
What a LGD need at this point.
I mean, this is going to
5
be
seconds
a maybe
remaining.
Zeus for mid, I guess, since I don't think the hero really fits as a support. Offlane is
Reserve
very weak, I
time.
want to say.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Ice 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 play it occasionally with mixed results. That was
Yeah.
a little bit farther back. But the offlane is a little harder now with the
10
creep
seconds
equilibrium
remaining.
than it was in the previous patch.
So they want an offlane RTK
5
hero
seconds
and a
remaining.
So
support.
you're reckoning as a support Earth Spirit then?
Yeah, yeah. I've only seen them play support Earth Spirit
Tong Fu's
for.
turn to
I'm not
ban.
actually sure who plays Earth Spirit. MMY
Lion!
Lion. The MMY Classic. I
Get
feel
ready
like,
for those Kraygasm Ravages!
I feel like if there's one player hero combo I've casted more than anything, it may be MMY Lion.
Yeah, and all through the
10
different ages of
seconds
Dota,
remaining.
you know? Were you casting him back when he was a solo mid?
I was watching him then.
Before your time.
I was watching Lumi cast him.
LGD's
That
turn
counts,
to
I guess.
ban.
So at least seeing it happen. But anytime I'm casting MMY, I'm like, oh, there's the MMY Lion. It just happens whenever he's there. So gives them some catch lockdown. They have an answer to Ember Spirit now,
10
which as
seconds
soon as you see an Ember
remaining.
picked up, because you're like TongFu's like, oh, Ember's great here. They have basically no lockdown. Earth Spirit's good. You've got a stun is followed up by a
Radiant
silence. You can
team pick.
kill an Ember, but it's not going to be enough.
Well,
And
this is a great ban by Tong Fu. They ban out the Tide Hunter. They do not want LGD to have 2 Ravages. God forbid he gets a Refresher. Now you've got 3. I like that decision.
Yep.
And I also like the Dragon Knight ban by LGD because they don't really have that front liner right now. Ember can maybe start a fight, but he doesn't want to sit in the middle of it. And with this level of push, if you have that beefy frontline
10
tank, then
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
things can really get out of hand quickly. You look at LGD, not the best D
5
push.
seconds
They're pretty good at
remaining.
split push, I guess, with the Terrablade, but They got to be worried about this Tong Fu Death Ball, so Dragon
Yeah.
Knight Band does make
Reserve
sense.
I don't think that Dro's as scary anymore when they picked up the Ember, because like you say, they need that tank your hero, and they get in the Shadow Fiend, so there we go.
LGD's turn to
I
pick.
guess a mech buyer for the team, and you can see how this is going to kind of tie into everything else TongFu look to do. But it's not going to be as fast a paced game as if they'd pick something like a Dro Ranger.
Yeah, this is getting a little greedy here on the Tong Fu side. A lot of heroes that can use the map. Very farm-dependent support duo. As for... is it Laugandie? How do you say it?
Laugandie, yeah.
Laugandie?
I think you're right. You probably can
10
say it better than I
seconds
can.
remaining.
Where's Roland to slap me
Jeez,
for
yeah.
butchering his language? But as for LGD, they'll end it with the Queen of Pain.
What? For maybe. So offlane is offlane Zeus.
They are
RTK's
very
Zeus.
squishy.
That seems like a last-minute change in the draft to me.
Yeah,
I don't
would
think that was
agree.
the plan from the start. And the last ban was from TongFu was on the RTK Tide, so they were expecting the mid Zeus. This was definitely a surprise, and I think something where Zeus matches up very badly against SF mid, so they get a hero that can go mid and not get crushed as bad. And Zeus will get some fun with Arc Lightning, but ultimately you have no pressure or even real kill potential onto an SF.
You can't deny him really. Like your last hit, your attack animation is just so bad, so he's gonna get a lot of easy souls, and you can't really contest the neutrals.
Whereas a level 2 Quap, you get Bounty Rune, you're level 2 from the first creep wave. If Earth Spirit roams,
10
hits
seconds remaining.
it's a little Boulder Smash, suddenly you've got a kill with like a Blink Shadow Strike onto the high ground. So
5
SF,
seconds
when the
remaining.
creep equilibrium's in a bad place, it really struggles to lane against a Quap when one of the supports is missing from the map. So we'll get ourselves in, and here we go. First game, Shanghai Majors, let's go.
Who's our observer? Do we know? Can we?
We're on Valat.
All right.
Thanks, Valat. Seems good.
Seems good for now.
Yep.
Valat's observing can be very hit or miss. Sometimes he's really on point, and sometimes I'm just like, you have a bottle of vodka in each hand.
It's okay, 'cause
and you're
it's-
just using your feet to control the mouse.
Well, and I guess he may get bored because it's too Chinese. When it's funny when there's like a Russian CIS
Oh,
team versus a
he's
non-CIS
so
team,
different.
you only ever see the camera on the CIS team.
Yeah.
If it's like two CIS teams, it's good because he'll always want to catch stuff and like see what's going on. But if he gets bored, like if this turns into a slow-paced game, we may not be where we want to be watching, but we'll see.
So Ward getting dropped down here by TongFu from the high ground. Both teams wanting some vision around the top rune, and Zeus does trot down towards the off lane. We're going to see the Ember Spirit getting the safe lane farm.
Do we get Dota 2 sounds, by the way? I don't know if the
30
stream has them or if
seconds
it's
to
just
battle.
us who don't have them.
We might at some point.
Maybe.
I think we were a little rushed to set up. So
No, note to.
what are you complaining?
Yeah, I'm complaining.
Alright,
I'm
well.
ready to go home, LD.
File your all
I'm ready to go
complaints-
upstairs and just.
All complaints can be filed with Greg. Greg is our HR manager at What Is Hip TV. Just let him know whatever you're unhappy with. I'm sure he won't reply.
Okay.
The
Sounds like
battle
Greg.
begins.
He didn't even show up to the hub. Where is he? He's meant to be here in person, LD.
We wanted Greg here. Greg
did?
actually had family obligations. So.
Okay.
Well, I wanted Greg
That's
here.
news to me.
Greg spices things up,
No,
man.
I'm kidding.
You know, he's my homie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is going to be the dual lane here bottom, the Visage Ember Spirit, offlane Zeus. Very squishy offlaner. Does have to be careful about the positioning. Can farm a bit with the Arc Lightning.
And Prophet can always like TP in. That's like a super easy kill. Like even if he's got Tango Scab or Sprout, just having an extra couple right clicks on the Zeus is.
Could also be the X Factor mid. If because Quap often when you go for the kill, you'll blink in offensively. If the Prophet's there to sprout you under tower or something like that, you could easily die.
And this Zeus should get 0 out of this offlane. I'm really, as much as I can understand them not wanting to lane the Zeus mid against SF, I think this is almost worse having him offlane where he potentially just gets 0 XP and is very reliant on his team to be doing well in the other lanes and to be able to set up kills so he can get space to catch up later on.
So a lot of it, with the offlane creep equilibrium change, do you feel like that's really weakened some of those more niche offlaners? Or?
Yeah. It used to be the case where almost anyone could theoretically offlane.
Obviously some, that like the ones that could block the creeps, it's great, like Tusk and
Yeah.
Clock, but there was a period where those heroes, like you had to pick them to offlane, and then it seemed like it really opened up the pool.
And that was also where the metagame of like TPing to your safe lane as a support to stop the offlane blocking your pulse began, because if you didn't have a pull camp against an offlaner in the old patch, sometimes you just had no way of stopping, of zoning them at that point, because you can't pull the wave back, you can't really affect the lane equilibrium, so I think that's been less of a thing on the new patch where we don't see as many level 1 TPs from supports. Offlaners still sometimes do it, though.
Early on, looks like farm being traded pretty evenly here. The been spending a little extra time mid, though, whereas Quap just kind of doing her own thing. But I haven't really seen that or Spear get too involved. He does roll to the top route now, Valat. Come on, my man.
Rune secured.
He gets the regen.
Yeah, I mean, he's watching RTK. I can just picture Valat like having a laugh at RTK, like, why? What are you doing?
Whenever
why did you draft an offlane Zeus, RTK? You're level 1. You're dying here. Like, I can just imagine Valat like not happy.
And his audience is totally on board to flame him as well.
I'm on board. Like, this offlane Zeus ain't doing much.
Let's be honest. When RTK is not on like a very tanky playmaking offlaner, over the past year, I would say at least, he struggled. Like historically, he used to do great on those squishier heroes like Nature's Prophet, but he's just so aggressive.
Yeah,
he wants to get in that ass, man, but you can't always do that.
I don't know what he does here. He can wait until it gets to the point of the early game where Ember's ready to rotate. He hits level 6 and he wants to gank, and then he's got a lane. Then he can get XP. But until then, there's nothing for him. Should have gone Iron Talon and jungled the big camp. That new big camp. That's the new way to play offlane.
I'm not sure how I feel about Iron Talon. The amount of stupid shit I've seen in my pubs because of that item.
Oh,
it's a cool concept, but my god.
It's something like he legitimately could have considered against this lane if he's not getting a single point of experience, or if you know you're going to get 0 XP, you're better off getting an Iron Talon and jungling that one big camp, because then you can get a guaranteed level 2. And later on, if you're Zeus, you just sell your Iron Talon or whatever. But
mid lane, Valat catches the first blood. Very nicely done.
Off to a good start. Happy Shanghai Major, Valat.
Yeah, our Spirit not getting the job done early. So obviously a big win there for Tong Fu, who are farming very well in the Ember as well.
Yeah, I don't see that changing anytime soon.
The Prophet's getting quite a lot more out of the offlane. You look at the Zeus, and he's actually getting dove right now, potentially.
He's full HP at least. But yeah, Prophet's really back as a, I think, top tier offlaner in some ways, just because the treants can disrupt the creep equilibrium and also.
Well, it's like Misery's
back
tweet
you up.
said, you know.
Yeah.
You buff all of Alliance's heroes, gets you better and fight them.
He's definitely more suited to the offlane than most heroes nowadays. I mean, he got the damage buff on Prophet as well as the treants.
Well, you know, I know the conspiracy, because Bruno absolutely loves Sweden. He went back there for Christmas, he stayed there for New Year's.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Alliance in a bit of a toss-up. All their heroes get buffed. They get invited directly to the major over some close competition.
Was he really in Sweden for a holiday, LD?
Maybe he was
it a
just
business
there
deal?
to
little something change
little
hands there.
special favor from Mr. Bulldog, perhaps. I'm just saying, man.
I mean, that TI3 money is going places. It's getting Alliance. Well, back on the radar, perhaps.
I call shenanigans.
Yep. No. Anyways, LGD, they're going for a fast. But one of the things, like Terrablade, I think one of his most powerful things is his actually first 5-10 minutes of the game. He's really strong whenever you've got Metamorph is basically an ultimate that you get at level 1, level 2. I mean, and it gets better as you leveled up, of course. But like, it has huge kill potential and huge pushing power. It's probably one of the best heroes to take a fast T1 tower. So. And
you really have to use it effectively. Like I've seen some games back when Terrablade was played very often. You remember when Envy was playing it like every game for a while, and just thought the hero was like an actual anime character that could never lose. And he played it really well, of course. But that first use of the ultimate to push a tower is very important.
Yeah, if it goes on cooldown early, it's like a Ravage being on cooldown in the mid game or something. It really affects how a Global Silence being on cooldown. It just affects the state of the game.
He's actually a very good zoning carry. If he gets like that initial slow off, then he can really punish someone early.
He's gyrocopter on a long cooldown. So if you're an offlaner, it's like you getting close, you're dead, or you get out of position, you're just straight up dead. Except you can only do it once every 2 minutes. But most offlaners, you don't really want to die at all. I could see Ice playing against a Terrablade, where it's like, I'm just going to go in and die once, because then it means Metamorph's on cooldown, and then I can get a lot of the lane. So, especially with the hero being new to the metagame, I think most offlaners are just like, I got to play super careful because I'll die to Metamorph. But I think we may just see some like sacrificial deaths.
Bait it out and then go.
You die once and you go back to the offlane and you get a lot done. So if it's like Metamorph and as well as a lot of consumables being used to kill you, it's not really that bad of a trade for an offlaner maybe, but that's like kind of theory.
It will be interesting to see how the understanding of Terrablade develops over this patch.
Yeah. I saw Envy casting game with the hero because like the Terrablade's got a couple points in reflection, but he like didn't use it all in the early game, so he was like, well, he's not really getting any value from these skill points. But We're seeing like different builds where it's been max reflection from some players. Miracle was doing that, the SEA Miracle, and then some of the Chinese players are going mostly into the Metamorph plus illusions for the farming build.
So this, of course, is one of the big things that has changed in this patch is ROTK actually not dying to a gank.
Whoa.
Welcome to 6.86.
And he's getting XP in this lane. And here comes
That's the big
backup.
change.
Maybe he's level 6. They're going to scream. Sonic Wave. They'll get at least
Beautiful stuff there. Gets the 1-3 heroes getting caught by the wave and now jumping
Yep.
forward, maybe looking for a bit more. This follow-up scream gets the kill.
That's good rotation.
That Sonic Wave. A lot of that to me just comes down to RTK's map awareness as well. Baits them in super deep. If they get the kill like out near where the river is, they might be able to retreat in time, or suddenly it's a 3v2 the other way, but played it well.
They had no idea maybe it was rotating too, because like even if let's say RTK is slightly out of position, they've committed for a kill and they're gonna get the worst trade. So a really nice movement from the Queen of Pain to get in there. So RTK off to a good start, as well as LGD as a whole.
Yeah, and I like this. They're giving DDC the mid lane, get the Lion, the level 6. It's not the MMY Lion though, sad to say.
MMY, I guess he's their Earthspear player.
Yeah, that seems like a very specialized hero.
So the Faith playing the offlane for TongFu. Interesting. Known for his support play back on IG, but swapping over to the offlane now, and we'll see LGD what they look to move. They can get complete map control. You see Zeus just bolting stuff, trying to deward, and it's gonna be hard for TongFu to avoid ganks. They haven't got the great.
They have
the
good. They have really
greatest
good
counter gank.
vision spells though. They have the Treants to scout, the wave, the familiars once they get them, as well as the remnants. Oh wait, they don't give you.
No, they don't. Not the
Yeah,
the
they
Fire
don't-
Remnant. No
yeah,
longer
that's
does.
right. That got changed.
But
They still have overall. Like I think they have pretty good scouting, but at the same
yeah.
time, like you said, what's their counter gank? It's Prophet TP / ult or Ember having the ability to get in a fight. So
Find a freebie online. I think he was just coming in to get a deep ward down. Wanting to play aggressive at this stage, and perhaps a bit unlucky that TongFu were just in the neighborhood.
what's the build here? Is he going straight BOTs?
Ember, yeah, with that money, I guess so.
Seems like it. Maybe not. Yeah, I guess he is saving.
Maybe picked up. I mean, he's not clicked. Vlad's watching but not clicking him. He could have bought treads. Who knows? It's a mystery.
No, we would have gotten the little pop-up thing, right?
Does it do it for treads?
I think so.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I haven't
Some
actually,
items
I
it
haven't
does,
actually
some it
cast a
doesn't.
Dota game in like a month. So
Jeez. You're right. We
I'm shaking the rust off, man.
Yeah.
But all right.
This
Maybe-
Terrablade has a ton of CS right now, 79 CS. I think he's got the Dominator, probably stacking Ancients. That's kind of been what we've been seeing a lot of Terrablades do. Go for a more...
Just like the super farm-oriented, just
yeah.
bit
And
greedier build.
it's kind of Gyrocopter-like, because we've seen Gyrocopters take the route to go more high on the Dominator, where you fight when you've got your ulti, or you do look to rotate some. Probably less aggressive than Gyrocopter, but you just go for that late game assurance with the Dominator while you fight.
Is that like significantly? I guess you really need the ancient stacks though, right? Because otherwise, for Terrablade, isn't just going straight Yasha better for ramping up your farm?
Yeah, for your illusions for sure.
But I guess if you have the stacks, it makes
Your
up for it.
illusions are pretty weak. They just kind of tank while your hero does the damage. Dominator is just super good, like for your
Yeah, when you're
armor,
metamorph with
HP
Dominator, you
regen.
can just tank the ancients basically.
That's just such nice. He actually went Yasha, so he didn't go. You're right about the Yasha then.
I
And
feel like the
going
Yasha's the
for-
safe build, where it's kind of that middle road. Like you can fight early, you can also farm.
Yeah, this
quite
is like
fast.
the jungle illusion. Like this is Yasha's the. It's for your illusion. It's like a free butterfly on Terrablade for the damage you get for it. It's like a 2,000 gold butterfly for your illusions. And no points in reflection, which is I think just it's
Seems good.
Sure, seems good. You're against an offlane who you know just won't let you kind of kill him with reflections. So
And he's always
just-
going to see you come in with the Treants as well. So
It's the same thing where you you see Terrablades in the past, like they don't get Sunder. He didn't get Sunder till level 9 because it's like you were like, if we gank him, does he have Sunder? Let's not gank him because he'll use Sunder. And you only gank him if you can chain stun him, and he won't get to use Sunder off. So Terrablades just stopped getting Sunder as a result, and it just became this big mind game.
it's time for a little jungle action here.
Yeah. And this smoke worked because they killed the Lion when Lion tried to ward there. Lion was like trying to roam in, get a ward down. Would have been a really useful ward to have, but
See LGD also on the smoke. They get a ward down, so even if they don't get the kill, they'll still be relatively happy with this one.
He's
TongFu
gonna-
are setting up for the tower, perhaps.
he's going to channel his inner burning, and they he's not got level 6.
They do have the Ember,
He
but
cancel his TP?
Dyer's middle
Interesting.
tower is under attack.
That was a peculiar sequence of events.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Tong Fu actually wanted to go there.
Oh.
And U9 wasn't either. He throws the Remnant and he's like, it's not really far enough. I'm just going to chill.
They saw him TPing with the wave, it looked like, but then he wasn't in stun range. He doesn't have level 6 swap. And I think he thought by the time he Remnants in, he wouldn't have got the TP cancel, but it was weird. Then he canceled the TP.
Yeah, at the same time, they've already used the Zeus ult. You know, this might be a good time to go since they're all very healthy. But Tong Fu take advantage of their pushing here. The only hero that does damage to towers in LG is Terrablade, and they know where he is. He's hiding at the tower. He's not going to be split pushing, so they take advantage.
I think
like
for
that
LGD
play.
they want to use the Sonic Wave Finger fairly soon. These are two big ultimates which should guarantee them, not necessarily a huge teamfight victory, but like
a couple
quick
pickoffs,
pick-off, and then you get out without any casualties. So if you smoke, you find a kill, it's like a guaranteed kill. You've got Zeus ulti for the vision, so these ultimates should be guaranteed kills. Like a Quap alone should be able to get one, Lion alone should be able to kill someone, and then there shouldn't be any... I mean, Ember, it's always hard to say. Like, if Ember is still alive, he can always catch you on the retreat, so it's not always easy to get out. But I don't think LGD is going to sit back and farm when they've got these big ultimates both available.
We just see Tong Fu continue to group up. The glyph gets forced out now as the familiars come in. Big boulder roll forward by MMY, but nothing there to really contest as from the side, Sylar comes in. He is currently metamorphed, almost chunks down LPZ. One more auto attack with the Zeus follow-up. Kill secured, and they get another. So 2 down. LGD, they just come out and they fight.
That's good news with RTK.
That was without the finger.
You know what's good about RTK playing Zeus?
What?
He can't miss his ultimate.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You're just warming up.
Don't worry, they get better. We've got 5 days.
We've got 100 hours to descend into the depths of destruction. So it is a Yule's build here by the Queen of Pain. Can dodge the magic missile with this. They don't really need ways to cancel TPs, and purges the Ember Flame Guard. Can get out of the chain, so a bit unusual to go for that Yule's, but seems like it has some utility.
Yeah, it's I guess mostly just the insta burn on Flame Guard. Like you're gonna try to burst down some of the squishy heroes, like you want to kill a Visage maybe at the start of the fight in SF, and you just use the Ember, get rid of his Flame Guard, and at that point you're not worried about having to kill and take him out of the fight right away because you've taken away a big source of his damage.
Tower is secured mid. Radiant getting the last hit. It's a Blade Mail Prophet. Bone 7 is back.
Oh yeah. So they want to probably fight a bit with this. I don't feel like you get a Blade Mail to split push or rad or even really. I guess I don't want to just 5-man towers. You actually want to go in and take fights.
Great Blade Mail game if you time it right.
Yep.
So much burst damage from LGD.
Oh yeah.
And they're squishy too. So they get the Blade Mail, they get the BOTs. They already have all their key abilities here, aside from still no swap on Miss Venge. She's struggling.
Yeah. It's not the biggest deal. They've been 5-manning a lot, which I think she just leveled up. Is that level 6?
What's the build? Oh,
There
she
we
is
go.
maxing the nuke. I thought she might go for more of the points in the aura and more of like the pushing style Venge.
Yeah.
But I guess that's their only
They
real
don't-
disable.
Yeah, they're disable and also like having single target burst damage to get a kill. Like you want to be able to quickly, if you hit the Quap with a stun, you want to be able to kill her off. If it's like a level 1 stun, maybe you don't have the damage. I think it just maximizes their fighting potential now. Not so much their pushing potential or Roche taking potential with that aura though.
LGD.
Terrablade already with Manta. Dang. That's some good form.
Yeah, this is a BOT Ember. It's a Shadow Fiend going for the... I think he's going Sanj and Yasha, right? Last we saw was the Sanj getting completed.
Okay. That sounds like the right build this game. I don't
Well,
think
unless it's the Sanj into Silver Edge Shadow Fiend, which...
Did he have a mech first, or did he just completely skip mech?
I think he skipped it.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me totally. I don't think it's like a essential.
The mech build just seems to have fallen off a lot in general in terms
Yeah.
of popularity.
Maybe Visage good. Arcane Mech has been the key. He was Q from CDC. He kind of popularized that, and we've seen. I think it was LANM for eHome start doing that. So.
Are you converted now? You're saying CDC?
Yeah, you know.
You know, the more people tell me not to say it, CDEC, the more I want to say CDEC.
I think it was during
It
when
just
we were
rolls
casting
off the
TI.
tongue.
I kept saying
The
CDEC.
Valve announcer at TI.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying CDEC.
CDEC!
Because they'd already recorded a CDEC, and I was like, well, Valve announces saying it.
Listen, I just do what the frog bids, and the frog bid me to say Aegis, not Aegis. So
Yep.
that's what I did. The frog bids CDEC, so I say CDEC.
Okay.
I take the announcer's voice as the voice of the frog. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if that's
I was
actually
like,
true.
the frog told you a C deck?
No, he never messaged me.
It's not MITH Trust. That was my favorite. Do you remember Ben calling them MITH Trust?
That was the closest like interaction I ever had with Ice Frog, where I'm like, he's actually mad. He's just like
he sounded so upset.
He was just so annoyed at Ben.
He was like, make Ben stop saying this now. Like,
I mean, that was pretty egregious. You know.
No, we
like on Ben's tombstone, like if you wanted to list like, yeah, let's imagine you list all your like greatest achievements and just biggest fuck ups. I feel like MITH Trust would probably be on Ben's greatest fuck ups. May he rest in peace.
I mean, he was just ahead of the game. Like he knew that CDC would be CDC. It was just like MITH.
So Tong Fu just slowing the game down a bit. They got their early tier 1s aside from that bottom, and seems both teams content to farm.
Are we sure it's not TONGFU? It is in all caps.
Can we just call them that for now? TongFu.
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 TFU.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
And we can flame the viewers without them really having any recourse, because we're constantly telling them. Just kidding, guys. We love you. DDC
Zap.
finally gets to flex that finger. The long range zap gets the kill.
Pretty late.
Poor
finger kill.
Venge. Hey, honestly, you tank a finger and a 3-hero gank like that. I think you're okay with that as
Yeah.
Venge.
What did they, I don't know if they smoked. They smoked definitely were. But LGD have pretty good like map presence and control right now of the entire Radiant jungle, and they're also getting farm up top. So this is looking like a pretty good position for them to be in.
It's a really cruisy Terrablade game right now.
Yeah, Ember's just like not done enough. I mean, he crushed his lane as he free farmed his lane, but then he.
But it's an offlane Zeus, right? You're supposed to do that.
His CS and farm has fallen off. Like right now, he's 2k net worth behind Quap, and it's not like Quap's got a bunch of kills. Quap has not snowballed this game. Quap's just kind of farmed a bit, found a kill here or there. So Ember's just been like, I think, trying to move 5-man with the team and look for kills, not being successful, and has not maintained his own farm.
Is it fair to say that the maybe Quap is not the CTY Quap?
Different kind of game play style, but yeah, it's definitely. It's
I
not
feel
the
like he
CTY
hasn't
Quap.
had to do that much though, because Tongfu, they pressured those 2 tier 1s and then they just took their foot off the gas. Do you think they should be going for more objectives? Oh, they are going to jump RTK now already, for staffing himself back. But the Flame Guard comes out. Familiars in pursuit, giving the vision needed. Double stun there, stacking them up a bit. Then the Quapo comes. They turn onto U9. They blast him down. LGD going right back the other way. Onto Faith Sprout is there. The stun right through the trees. Follow-up coming through from the Bolt. And it looks like Faith will be going down in the end. Nicely done there. And RTK, again, tanks the gank, lives to tell the tale. They get 2 out of it. Just very good reactions from LGD.
Having a 4-staff already making a big difference. No, not an Orchid too. For a second I was like, whoa, he's got an Orchid as well as the Eels, but that was just the Earth Spirit with the Bone Silence, the Boulder Silence, whatever it is. I don't know how this spell's called. Geomagnetic Grip, that's the one. That thing.
It's like
Doesn't sound like a spell that would silence. Geomagnetic Grip does not sound
I had
like a
that
silencing
problem
spell.
with Winter Wyvern for the longest time. I'm like, the
yeah.
freezy thing where they heal you.
The Ice Tomb.
Yeah, or the thing where it blasts you. But you eventually learn.
That was like super costly. Losing Ember and Prophet, 2 cores on like a gank you orchestrated where you were getting aggressive, and yeah, LGD bring a few heroes, but that was still just like 2 heroes counter initiating while Terrablade was farming the entire time. Terrablade's just done nothing this game except hit creeps, and that's a happy Terrablade. This is Sylar like in his element right now.
On paper, Ember's pretty damn good against Terrablade, especially as far as the illusions go, but he's so far behind. He feels. I mean, like you said, he hasn't really been a factor, but he's gonna need some fights with his team to get back to relevance and be able to contest the TB later on. Feels like honestly the story of this game has just been RTK anticipating ganks and baiting beautifully.
Ooh, yeah.
That's
And
twice now that's led to a big fight for his team.
RTK baits, and then maybe's there for the kind of counterplay. Not that here, I mean, Queen of Pain, you know, this is great as far as damage goes in a counter gank scenario, but doesn't have like that stun save kind of thing.
So BKB Terrablade. This is a bit of a curveball.
I want to probably take Roshan push, I guess. He wants to tank, just be able to tank up, and
Because they don't have that frontliner. They didn't go for Dragonite, which got banned. They went a bit of a different direction.
yeah. So I think what I saw the other Terrablades get when I was casting the China tournament over Christmas. I think it was always Manta. No, Helm of the Dominating Manta was most popular, and then after Manta, sometimes Skadi, sometimes BKB. I want to say. But yeah, it was almost every game was Helm of the Dominator. So this is new to me, not seeing the Dominator build.
So it is the ether lens for the Visage. It looks like.
Okay.
I believe.
Not like a.
no
Nah.
mech at least.
It's I don't know, underwhelming item I think in this game. It's one of those items which, yeah, it boosts like everything you do. Like you get a bit more damage output, a bit more. Maybe you have to get an extra nuke off from safety, but it doesn't like offer your team anything like a Force Staff does or a Glimmer Cape. I think there's been like too many Aether Lenses bought just and at the cost of not having a Force Staff on your team or Glimmer Cape, which just can save a life or do so much more than just boosting up your damage output and.
But imagine if
Fast
you're a
range.
Sand King with an Ags and an Aether lens.
God, that just sounds clowny.
I feel like people just get. It's cool because when the patch comes out, everyone's
Yeah.
like, "What's the most ridiculous thing I can figure out how to cobble together in this patch?" And then they do it. It sounds really broken, and then you realize like I've just invested 6k gold into these items just so I can have. Honestly, it gets hard to control your burst strike at this point because it's so damn
man.
long.
It's like you don't know where but to click the bar circle on location, you're no longer looking at your hero. And if your hero moves, you kind of forget where your position. You don't
I
know who
actually,
it's gonna go through.
I found it really hard to play Sand King with those items. Like at the first
Yeah.
time I did, I was just like, my god. And then you find yourself like you get the initiation, you realize your team's like
Yeah.
2,000 units behind you.
And my argument for stuff
Where are you guys?
like that and the Aether Lens on Disruptor is like it's diminishing returns because it's a flat increase in the cast range. So if you're saying like a Glimpse or a Bar Strike with a bazillion range, like the actual increase in range is very small compared to an increase in range in like something that's short. So to me like it's not as justified on like that's at least my theory. I'm not entirely sure if that like entirely holds true, but to me it's like not worth getting on heroes like Disruptor just because of the cast range. Maybe there's some games you get it because the stats for the item is what makes it seem good all the time because it's magic resistance, it's HP regen, so you can get it instead of tranquil boots, but
Clearly LGD are not listening because they just got one. Although I think it's a lot better on Zeus. Gives you that extra range for
Yep.
the bolt.
Oh,
Can
yeah, Zeus-
de-ward a lot more safely.
and then you got to force stuff first, so it's not coming like at what Scan and I kept saying is that a hero like a Disruptor or Zeus or whatever would get an Aether Lens and then just like die a bunch, and you're like, man, he wishes he had a Force Staff right now because a Force Staff would have saved his life or saved his teammate's life or something, and then instead he's got an Aether Lens which doesn't protect you or offer your team much. But he got the Force Staff first, so I think RTK being a responsible gamer and
Well, maybe RTK a little worried about missing his ult. You know, now he's got that little smidgen of extra range in case heroes are off the map.
zing.
He'll still fight. Yeah. So Blink is coming on DDC as well. LGD getting seems like they're getting all their key items together, even though their supports don't really have all that much farm. Neither to Tong Fu's. With the BKB
And they got a mech
on the
now
TB,
too.
at what point do they start deathballing?
Yeah, it can really happen anytime.
They have such crazy initiation
Yeah.
now.
I think the BKB also good this game as
Maybe getting the ult off only connects on LPC here, but does he have the damage to get the job done? Reef summoning the familiars, it's too late. Down he goes. Meanwhile, off in the Radiant jungle, things are happening.
Was that a
Shadow Fiend is doing
Blade?
things.
Doesn't look like the swap stun. It looks like no. Don't think SF has Shadow Blade.
Has Valette realized there's a kill there? Probably not.
Eh,
Like you said, I think with 11 kills in 25 minutes, his interest
Debatable.
is quickly waning.
But with the BKB this game early for Terrablade just means you can't gank him because it's not like there's a lion on TongFu's side where you blink Hex Impale and then he can't get off the BKB. They have nothing to stun him and prevent him BKBing this game. Like a Venge stun is a projectile. You can always BKB Manta dodge it, but you'll just see the Venge coming. There's no like blink initiative, that means you're dead. If Ember goes on you with a Remnant Searing Chains, you can BKB out of it, so...
They have a late game counter to BKB, which is extremely heavy physical damage,
Yeah.
but like in the mid game, that's where the Terrablade's power curve, he's just going to be way stronger.
Whereas like an SF getting a BKB this game is not as scary or hard to deal with because LGD have the Blink Hex from the line.
Yeah, they have the instant jump.
So this is going to be a hard game for TongFu. It's not looking good right now, but... And Ember's really poor.
Again, to me, that's the key thing. If Ember was the most farmed hero right now, I feel like they'd have a much better chance, but...
Even just like on par with the Queen. That's a huge drop-off after the Queen.
And he's hardly died. I think he died, what, just the one-time top?
Yeah, I think
He's just gotten out-farmed.
before that he hadn't died and was still like 2k gold behind anyone, so...
But generally what we see out of most Embers is they either really push the tempo with split push like Envy, where he'll just play hyper aggro to get every little bit of extra farm, or they go as like the heavy ganking like style, you know, tempo control like Matumba Man almost, I would say. He didn't really do either. He just kind of took the safe farm and sat back.
SF Blink. Could be a nice item. Just get the guaranteed big Requiem off, but hasn't got like a Yule setup and not the best setup on his team. Searing Chains, I guess. You often see this if you've got like a Blink Initiator, like someone who can go in with the SF or right before the SF. So.
What does Lao Gandhi want to do?
Oh, they're happy to farm LD. This is Chinese Dota.
This is weird. Seeing Sylar back in his old, comfortable, just hard farming, you know, new age burning style of play. Gone, at least for this game, are the days of Sylar playing second fiddle to maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind what Scan said. If you threw like some CIS teams in the Chinese qualifier, stuff would get crazy. Just because like some of those teams like put their playstyle up against like an LGD or whatever, and it's going to be a big clash in playstyles. Whereas like when LGD versus Tong Fu or whatever, it's like they kind of play at a similar tempo or like they adjust. But
and it's just true in general for all regions, where they're all much more familiar with each other's playstyle. Like all the European teams, and even the CIS teams, you know, they scrim a lot more and they just see more of each other's teams.
In fact, CIS, well, CIS qualifier does. Let's say it feels like a CIS qualifier. 7 of the 8 teams that were like invited, everyone except for Liquid was a CIS team. So, and then the qualifying team was what? I think Mama's Boys, who's not CIS, and who won the second qualifier for Europe? I can't remember. I think it was No Logic Gaming, maybe.
One thing's for sure, Volat is happy.
Yeah.
CIS has had a massive resurgence.
Yes.
Things are looking up.
Yep. And what, VP directly invited? Just the one CS team directly invited, but some very promising teams out from the region.
So LGD have made the call. This is their time to try and break through the base. Familiars looking to slow things down a little bit, but the Terrablade sits strong in the front lines. They might be able to crack that Aegis. No, he gets off the ultimate dunk coming out from Sylar, almost finishing up the Ember. Who actually went for... Wait, what did he go for? A BKB? No.
Ember? He just picked up Battle Fury
Just picked up
a
Battle Fury.
minute ago. This is like the super late Battle
Man,
Fury.
he is so underfarmed. He's just tickling LGD.
They need to kill that Terrablade before he sundered. Even though he had Aegis, it just means you take away that first life. But now
he's Scotty
still got
with
2
still
lives.
Aegis and still BKB. That is...
And you kill
they're
him
not
once,
killing him.
Sunder's already back up, so you don't even know if... Like, he could theoretically have like 4 lives. Like, if you're saying he's on life number 2 now, Aegis, then he's got life number 3. Sunder's back up, there's life number 4. Like, the Scotty just got delivered for that fight and that extra bit of HP. That timing where they had about 30 seconds left on Aegis. They had the Scotty arriving. Terrablade was just kind
and they don't really have the tools
nice
to rat here, because Prophet went for the Blade Mail build. He doesn't split push that fast. Ember's just flat out underfarmed, so they try for the top tower push, but you know, there's no Bulldog in this game. That's for sure.
I think something to give some kind of credit to Ember. You're playing with a Prophet in your team. That hero just naturally soaks up farm by using the ultimate, pushing out the lane. So it is a lot harder to maintain your farm as an Ember Spirit when you have a Prophet in your team. So I think to give U9 at least some credit there in the way he's played and kind of fallen behind.
And it's not just that. Their whole draft is on the greedy side. Venge at least wants levels, Visage wants farm, Prophet wants farm, Shadow Fiend wants farm. There's no like sacrificial lamb type hero.
Yeah, they were giving Visage like the off lane for like the mid game where he just kept on pushing. This is Vlad. Why did you not take the Rax LGD? What is this boring Chinese Dota? Get the freaking Rax. Come on, guys. I love the Vlad camera work. He's like, when does Europe start? He's probably watching, like, just keeping an eye on the time. His watch, like, okay,
When can
4 more hours till Europe begins. Then we can at least watch some real Dota. That's what,
Honestly,
that's
you
what
do
Vlad's
not.
thinking.
In fairness to LGD, you do not want to throw a fight against this TongFu.
No,
that is a comeback lineup right there.
That was
Great split push, great tempo control, tons of late game, heavy physical damage. You only have 1 carry on LGD.
LGD playing like LGD do, and I think should have done in that situation.
Basically, Valat. Keep a lid on it.
Yep. All right.
They're going bottom.
They haven't got Aegis. They'll look for pickoffs at this stage, but
The timing, is it right? No.
that was...
He's got eggs.
Yeah, I don't... He tried to hit him with the boulder smash.
The timing very difficult there.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's possible.
Maybe.
If it's like under you as the Yule's End.
I'm
I
actually
don't
not sure how that works.
Yeah.
Most things Ember can just always jump out of because it's instant. But
know. Yeah.
if it's on top of you, like
Ice Bomb? I don't know. I'm trying Ice Bomb.
Static Storm, if it's already down.
Yep. So, LGD.
Black Hole.
Yeah, Black Hole's a good one.
Where's Enigma?
Where's Enigma? Not back.
Well, if Ice Frog wants to buff Toby, bring back Enigma.
Yeah, caster buffs and nerfs. I like it. Remove Enigma from the metagame, and there we go. It's a big nerf to Toby. That's how do we buff you, LD?
I swear I didn't have a hand in it, guys.
Yeah. He's like, man, haven't cast 2 TIs in a row. We gotta do something about this. And you know, Enigma was there at TI4, TI5, a little bit of Enigma, you know. So he's been working his magic.
We'll see if the caster buffs come out one day.
So what buffs do you need? What heroes do you need buffed?
I don't know. What are my heroes?
For you? Puck. You need Puck back, and Puck's back this patch. There we go. Let's go. Let's see some Puck.
I don't want Puck.
This is setting
match.
it up.
I've been enjoying the lack
Nope.
of wows.
I've
I've been enjoying the like low ratio of wows to normal conversation. I guess it'd be a high ratio, but yeah.
So we need some Puck versus Enchantress is back in the
Well, yeah,
offlane
that
at
would make
least.
you relevant again.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mi-
Meepo.
Mike's playing Enchantress in the offlane. That's happening.
How do you feel about the Enchantress offlane? Seems like it can be very strong or
It's-
pretty ass.
It's super cheesy. It's like
Yeah.
kind of
Situational.
it's kind of like the 5th or 4th pick Broods. Like you just put it out and you're like, crap, they've just got an Enchantress on the offlane. What do we do now? It's less cheesy than a Brood, but it's like a similar concept, I think, where some games it's just ridiculously good. And
Well, it's
it's
almost
semi-
always annoying to lane against.
Yeah.
Because you don't pick it if they're like heavy nukers.
No, it's very probably close to what Meepo is, where some games it just will win you games because of the lane. But it's something I think that hasn't been fully exploited yet. But I'm pretty sure it will be in this patch. I like ran into Universe in a pub yesterday and it was just like, oh, he's an offlane Enchantress and I was a support Husker. So we had other problems that game.
Support
You know, I was on this randoming spree. I random something I didn't want and I re-rolled into Husker and then I was like, crap.
High level
And
NA Dota.
Or TZ was like, dude, that hero's garbage. I'm like, yeah, I'll just play support. And then I tried to support Husker and we lost.
How did Arteezy feel about that?
You know, that game was over fast. That's all I can say was good. It was
Did
over
he-
in like 20 minutes.
Did he abandon?
No.
I feel like every time I've turned on his stream, within like 30 minutes of it starting, I see him rage quit a game. Just, it's not even always rage. Just like I've decided I've lost. I don't want to waste my time. New game. Let's go. Wow.
Was that LGD taking Roshan back to this game? Did they skip Aegis again?
Yeah, there's things happening here, which Vlad is slowly
Yep.
realizing.
Next Aegis should be a Rax, possibly 2 Raxes, possibly game, depending. If TongFu defend well, they probably just lose 1 Rax.
Top lane looks like Shadow Friend chilling in the trees. He's gonna get out. The Blink Shiva's bit of scouting for maybe, but not gonna find anything. And couriers are dying too.
Yep.
My God.
Oh, Dire Cruise. So
Is there anything?
prevents an
Is there
item.
anything Vlad can catch this game? Oh,
Equal
there we go.
Assault for Terrablade. I think you can push with Aegis without that item, without the butterfly. So it does make a difference. though. Like if you're trying to like the Sleight of Fist from Ember with the Battle Fury, like one more possible evasion coming off from that. But I think they're going to go for mid Rax regardless. So.
They're just slow rolling this, playing it extremely safe. Ultimately, these qualifiers are incredibly important for the teams. So, and especially for the Chinese teams, I feel like this tournament they are going to put a little bit of extra weight on because it's the Chinese major. So there's a little more pride at stake. It's going to come right around when the Chinese New Year hits. So it's a big deal for them.
So I think TongFu, unless LG slip up, are just going to lose a Rax here. Like TongFu, if they TongFu's goal is just to defend well, delay them, try and buy time for the Aegis to expire, and only lose.
They're not ratting at all though. So LGD is just going to go for 2 lanes.
They really don't want to lose 2 melee Raxes here. If they can lose just the 1 melee Rax or mid lane only, this is a really successful defense for them. But
They're going to need some sick combo plays.
Yeah.
Last Requiem was very underwhelming, but it
It-
feels like they're going to need a huge one this
and
fight.
it's not right now. I think it's going to be the next Metamorph. They're backing off because Metamorph's wearing up, so they'll have like 100 seconds of breathing room right now. But it's gonna. LG is going to come back. They're going to probably wait Korea plus next Metamorph, and they'll still have Aegis, and that's going to be like do or die time for TongFu, or they're just going to be down 2 melee Raxes, and game is going to get very hard.
they'll be back soon and in greater numbers. That is for sure.
I like this Terrablade 0-0. Has got, what, 3 assists I think that was?
That is a well-played Terrablade game.
Deals for Ember, so I mean that's the thing. You buy some time, Ember gets another item or two, can deal a bit better, but like watching what Sylar did there when he was pushing the mid melee racks, he had his hero and his 2 illusions like split apart and no one else was on the high ground, so there wasn't even any cleave coming off the illusions. There were just 2 Metamorph TB illusions like 400 rage apart from each other, all hitting the rack. So.
And with the BKB build, you're less reliant on your illusions anyway.
Yeah.
Like, your main hero is by far the scariest part of your arsenal.
So I think Ember may need even more on top of this. I don't think he can go for a defensive item when you're...
I really, it's got to be like maybe MKB and then into Rapier at that point.
Yeah, MKB sounds good actually, since there's Butterfly on Terrablade coming.
But I agree, like you can't go for the defensive items unless they win a huge fight.
Yep. Fly Terror SF, so I mean everyone on TongFu is like keeping up okay. They're getting farm, they're getting items. I don't know what Prophet's got. Maybe he's going for a hex or something here.
He did already get a hex.
Oh, he's got a hex. Okay, that's like an item which right now he's spent a lot of money on, farmed up a lot, but hasn't got to use. So they're very committed to actually fighting with the items they've gone for when it's going to be tough to take that fight. Yeah,
and they're not fighting.
And it's hard because LGD is like a step ahead. Now they've got a refresher on Quap, so you're looking at double Sonic Wave. Ooh, I think that was like a smoke out. Like, okay, they're not ready to put. They're not ready to push now. They don't have Metamorph. Let's go smoke, find a pick off, and delay them further. So that means LGD were like, okay, we got Metamorph. Let's push bottom. Let's get that Rax. And suddenly it's like, oh, we're down RTK. It's not possible. So that was a really good pick off there.
A lot of evasion coming out now with the Solar Crest complete on the Visage, the Butterfly on the TB. So MKBs are on the menu for everybody pretty much, as TongFu is going to back off.
Who's going to get the first MKB?
I like how you just let me say that and just calmly continue.
I like TONGFU. I'm an advocate for that. Until we get an announcer in game, jury's out as to which way it goes.
How about TongFu?
Food.
Are you a believer?
Well, they're
in
not
the
food this
porridge?
Game. Food? This is
the
there
porridge
has not been
good?
kills this
is
game.
the TongFu porridge actually good?
I don't know. I have no idea actually.
What if you mix it up with the Laogandier sauce?
Let's give it a shot. I don't know if that's allowed.
And they're LGD Taobao, right? Or are they anymore? Because they used to be at one point.
Yeah, they used to
That
be.
sounded like Tabasco to me, is how I
Tabasco.
read that. So I'm like, man, this must be some serious hot sauce. Spicy.
So Ember picks up Blink, an item that in some ways is a damage item because it allows you to get more Sleight of Fists off. Like you can kind of be aggressive with your Sleight of Fist, like Blink Sleight of Fist in, and you can do that outside of the base and then Remnant away. So in some ways
It gives you a safe initiation.
Yeah.
Outside of the kind of unreliable chains.
So in some ways it gives him more damage output. So I don't know. I guess you can consider it a damage item.
It's also a split push item. It's kind of a bit of both.
But here comes the next push. I don't think they're gonna have Aegis. Terrablade now. He's already lost it. He's got.
This is where you queue up the Imperial March music.
They've got Hex though, so this Terrablade's very killable. If you can Hex him, burst him out before BKB.
I guess they have to worry about the glyph here.
I think Earth Spirit has an Ag Scepter though. That's where killing him is really difficult because that's like that Dazzle Grave kind of factor where you can just pull him back to safety, and it's actually a lot harder.
The big swap forward though. He's gonna need a little help. Gets pushed out. The Requiem comes through. Huge damage as TongFu looked over the line, but Sylar, he gets off the ultimate. The BKB as well, and he immediately starts beating down on the tower. They have lost themselves the Vengeful Spirit. The swap committed. The Lion is dead for now as LGD back off. They force out the buyback. Not the biggest steal in the world, as they do at least hold their base for now. They're looking for a bit more. They jump onto RTK. Boulder coming through the roll forward. MMY committing, just sacrificing himself for the greater good. Now Sylar's turn to re-engage. Brains down Faith, looking for a bit more. Onto the low HP supports he goes, but he's also dropping pretty low here. May have to back up. Everybody explodes in the middle of it. Huge commitment there by Maybe, gets the job done. Now the Shadow Fiend's turned by Mexoto as the Nature's Prophet Tong Fu looking to retreat out as Sylar marches forward, forcing his way onto Faith, but Faith able to get out just in the nick of time. The Sleight of Fist not quite enough. He's so damn low, they force step him out.
Again.
LGD still on the run, and U9 could easily get turned on if he's not careful.
Number 2.
Committing, didn't quite. Reflections there, the damage is too much. He brings him down as well, and now the Sunder is looking for more Gatun to chase onto the Shadow Fiend, jumping here and there through the Sprout. He's gonna slap down Faith. Sylar is a god. They cannot slay the beast. And LGD, well, they get the kills, they force the buybacks, but they don't get the wrecks.
Well, that's gonna be pretty happy about that fight. I mean, that's like Chinese Dota. 40 minutes of posturing of chess, and then one crazy freaking team fight, and that was it. That was 4, maybe 5 buybacks from Tong Fu.
Venge bought back early, Shadow Fiend and Prophet bought back. It was at least 3.
I don't think Ember did. Ember's buyback is up now, so I think it was 4. I want to say it was 4.
Yeah, I didn't see if Visage did.
Oh, that's so. I don't think anyone in LGD used buyback there too. So
those Sunders were just devastating.
Yep, and the force staff too. Like for a second I thought he was getting pulled up, and I was like, that's just a regular force staff because he turns during the hex and it's forced back a little bit to safety. They just slightly didn't have the damage they needed to kill him off. They don't have any like crowd control for the backlines. Like if you can swap him in and try, like you swap stun him, but you have no hero to prevent the heroes like forcing him from behind. There's no fissure, there's no ravage, there's no like silences to stop like a force staff or geomagnetic grip from the Earth Spirit to pull him out. So that's just where Tongfu's teamfight is a bit lacking, I guess.
Somehow they need to get like the Hex, the Requiem Bomb, Ember with a crit, Visage getting off the stuns, like all of that with a magic missile without him getting pulled away.
It is, I mean, this is Terrablade at his peak now. He didn't have the Satanic that fight, he's got it now, but he is 6-slotted outside of a Moon Shard. I don't even really feel like there's an item replacement you can make.
The BOTs would help him in terms of split pushing.
Yeah, yeah. It's not going to make him like
he's not going to do more
scarier,
damage
like, in a team fight, so he'll do less damage in a team fight, I guess. So like at that stage for Tong Fu, it's like, okay, let's just hold out. Even if they lose, let's say bottom racks here, if you're down 2 lanes of racks, you've got an Ember Spirit, you buy a Rapier, like it's still game on. Terrablade's not a hero who wants, it's kind of anti-mage like where you farm super fast, you get capped out, and then you want to win the game. You don't want it to go 60, 70 minutes and then the hero falls off because you've already peaked out on items. So
well, especially with this draft where the rest of them are just pure nukers really. And Queen of Pain's not going for that like build we've seen from S4, very heavy right click within the Assault Cuirass and damage items, so they have pigeonholed themselves into the more classic 4 Protect 1 style.
Yep. So Salty's flying out, get that scouting info. What is coming on the courier?
I like this though. Get the Aegis, immediately go. You know the buybacks are on cooldown.
Oh yeah.
And it was 3 in the end, it looks like. Visage did not have it.
Game over if they don't get a good hold here.
Wow. Everyone calls Teep and T-God, but right now this Terrablade is looking like it. They can't even scratch him. Pops the BKB, pounds his way right through combo, and looks for a bit more. LGD marching, forcing their way in. Can Tong Fu hold the line? They try to slow it down with that long-range soul subject, but a gigantic boulder roll forward by MMY. He's going to zone LPC out a bit. He does get Familiar Stem, but already the racks have fallen. They look now for the ranged. LGD finding the openings here. They get the stun off. Can they commit fully and bring down the Shadow Fiend? Yes, they can. Massive nuke damage as Maybe dives deep for this soul subject again. ROTK manning up the little Zeus that could, and in the end, LGD, they'll take the full lane of racks. No casualties, and no recourse for Tong Fu. Down to Shadow Fiend for 100 seconds, and with that, likely the game.
Yeah, I think they should just go for either Megas or... I don't think they have to go for the Throne. That probably commits them a bit too deep when there's a Venge who can swap you in, and Tong Fu just GG out. Opening game for China is a wrap. LGD, I think it's a good start for them. They play very methodical. Perhaps didn't take as many chances as... I mean, not even about taking chances. They didn't play like as kind of convincingly as they sometimes would.
They didn't quite have that level of killer instinct you'd expect from a team that was being considered for a direct invite.
They've got a scary group. They've got IG, Tongfu, and I think it's maybe Fanchuan and one of the like the CDEC youth team or one of the youth teams. And I think you want to just start off, get a win, and then build up that confidence moving forward. So if they played like this in like when they were already guaranteed to be going through the playoffs and they were like versing a team who was like eliminated and they play like this, I'd be like, oh, okay, LGD is like, why? Like they should be doing better. But because it's their opening game, they need to start getting that momentum, getting some wins together. I'm like, okay, this is a good sign for like an opening game, I think, for LGD.
So you're happy if you're their coach?
Yeah, this is solid. Like the game plan was there, they executed it. I think maybe they played a little bit too reserved at times. Like the Lion, and a lot of it because Lion got a very late blink. Often you'd see teams give more farm priority towards a Lion, but that wasn't like that was never the game plan. Terrablade soaked up more farm. Quap soaked up more farm.
What did TongFu need to do to not become TongFu? Where
I don't
did it
know.
go wrong?
I thought they
David?
were drafting more like kind of push like around the auras, like the Venge Visage, like I mentioned the Drow they were going to go to. You saw the Dragonite ban and commented they could just 5-man Deathball around that, and it looked like that was the direction their draft took. And then they were like, oh, we can't do that. Let's last pick whatever they Shadowfiend, which
Shadowfiend,
was
yeah.
okay. It didn't.
So it's a little. It comes online later, and it requires more space.
Yeah. They were entirely reliant on the Ember just to find them kills, pickoffs, and to control the tempo of the game. And
So should the Ember have played differently? Played more aggressive and kill-oriented? Or?
yeah, I mean,
Or do you think
I
it's
feel
more
like
draft?
he tried to do that
Yeah.
though. He just wasn't. He wasn't successful. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't.
He wasn't aggressive either.
Yeah, aggressive. Yeah. That was the. It was the plan, and they tried to execute it. Just didn't work for them. I guess. I don't think there was any like I can understand the idea they had behind it, and they reckon. I think the problem was they were entirely stuck. Like all they could do was around the Ember, whereas for LGD they could sit back, they could farm, they had more. They had kill potential coming out from the line, from the Quap. I mentioned like, oh, they've got line ulti, Quap ulti. They probably want to go fight because these are guaranteed kills, but they didn't have to get these kills because they had the Terrablade. They were out farming their opponents, so they had more ways to win the game, and they just chose which way based on how TongFu played, and they just played keep away. They said, okay, you guys are 5-manning, we'll stay away, farm, and then we'll push later.
Okay. Well, I guess that about wraps it up for game one. Probably a short break. I know Andre tends to crack the whip a lot during these.
Yep. He's not doing
Qualifiers.
China though.
Oh, he's not doing China.
He's doing the other region.
Well,
Other
we
three-
don't know then. It could
yeah.
be 5 hours, guys. This is Chinese Dota. Anything could
Yeah.
happen. But for now, it's Jiao Yu.
Jiao Yu.
Jiao Yu! So we'll go to a break here while RTK Jiao Yu's in the distance somewhere around the globe. But we'll come back. We'll bring you game two. Stick around. You're watching the Shanghai Major Qualifiers.